Good morning, everybody. Welcome to 2019. I want to start you off this year with one of my theoretical videos. I really enjoy making these, but first I want to show you guys a magic trick. Check this out. I'm going to teach you what that was as well as how to perform it in this video, but I also want to talk about the concepts of parries, reversals, and sabaki parries. I won't talk about souvlaki parries, but that's just when somebody tries to give you Greek barbecue and you go no thanks. Let's get some terminology out of the way first. There are all these moves in Tekken that will go through or nullify or deflect an attack, and they have specific old school terminology attached to them, and it can be a little bit confusing to know what everything is referring to, but let's explain it quickly. So if we start with reversals, this is probably the most obvious example of a reversal in the game. Asuka's reversal, you've obviously seen it before, extremely common, gets abused online, even gives her a full wall combo in this game, so it's very, very powerful. And if you can learn how to deal with this in a powerful way, then it's going to dramatically improve your matchup against this character. Now, the reason this is considered a reversal as opposed to a parry is that the attack that Asuka does here when she's reversing me happens automatically. I attack into the reversal and it turns into kind of like a little cutscene. And she doesn't need to do anything to make that attack happen. This is in contrast to an actual parry. A parry would be if I'm punching at Asuka and she just deflects and pushes that attack out of the way. That's considered a parry. A lot of parries have attacks attached to them at the end, but those attacks need to be performed manually by pressing an attack button. So if I punch, Asuka pushes that attack out of the way, and then she presses a kick button and a kick attack comes out, for example, that is still considered a parry as opposed to a reversal, because the this thing right here is not automatic, right? And so that's the distinction. If we're going to get into the real nitty-gritty and talk about sabaki parries, comes from the Japanese word sabaki, or tai sabaki, by the way, which is a concept in Japanese martial arts. When you move, it's difficult to explain, but it's kind of moving in a strategic way to give yourself strategic advantage. Sabaki just means to manage or to utilize something. But in Tekken, it refers to a specific kind of parry that has priority and superiority over punching moves, and they're referred to as punch parries by a lot of people. And so if you do a sabaki, what's going to happen is if the opponent punches into that, you're just kind of going to walk through those punches and perform your move anyway, because your sabaki nullifies those punches. And so these are the three basic terms that I brought up in the beginning. I don't think it's very important to keep these in mind, or make sure that you're correct when you're using them, because most people, even veteran players, will just refer to all of this as just parries arbitrarily. Even this obvious reversal from Asuka, veteran players will call just Asuka's parry a lot of the time, and I think that's absolutely fine. It's just important to know what it means when you're listening to other people talk about Tekken, so you don't get confused. Now, what I actually want to talk about in this video are the creative and fun ways in which you can deal with reversals and parries, and specifically how to chicken, which is a very fun and weird part of Tekken that is obscure enough that I think most new players won't be aware of it. It's a thing where I don't think reversals and parries get used that much in competitive play, and that just means that the very specific things you need to do to deal with them get used even less. Now, the first thing you need to know is that there are very few completely universal rules you can learn about parries and reversals that will help you against any character, because this is all extremely character specific. For example, if we're going to bring up some unique examples, Jin has a famously powerful parry that can nullify almost anything. It's considered to be very powerful for that reason. It kind of breaks a lot of the rules of Tekken in a way. Excuse me. And Elisa with an A, for example, has a reversal that will nullify any high in the game completely. And I do mean any high. If I do this throw against Elisa, she will drop her head and then she'll punch you in the dick really hard, because throws are considered highs. So that's a unique reversal that she has. And so the best way to learn all of these things is to spend a lot of time in practice mode, experimenting with your favorite character, and trying stuff out. That's what Namco want you to do. They've said this many times, but Tekken doesn't come with an instruction manual, because you're supposed to explore for yourself and learn the frame data by trying it out in game, which you can like or dislike, but it's the way it is. But there are a couple of cool things you can learn how to do to deal with parries and reversals. We're going to talk about chickening a little bit later, but the first thing I want to talk about is that there are a lot of moves that simply will not be reversed or parried depending on which part of the body the attack comes from. And I think this is kind of beautiful and romantic, and I kind of love this about Tekken, because it's kind of arbitrary, but it has to do with the way the game is animated. So typically only attacks that come with the hands or the feet can be reversed. So if I punch into Asuka right here, even if I do my tiger uppercut, the down for 2, because it starts out with a punching attack, it will be reversed. If I kick into her with my feet, I get reversed. But if I'm, for example, playing one of those bootylicious characters like Elisa or Anna, and I smash into her with my ass, I'll go through that reversal and she can't do anything about it. And I guess it's supposed to be because there's no limb for her to grab onto. I mean, you can try to grab onto their asses, I guess, but I mean, you might, but it's difficult for Asuka to do, apparently. In the same way, if I'm playing Miguel or Katarina, I can smash into her with a headbutt and she won't be able to reverse that. If I'm playing Brian, which I'm not, by the way, I can use my elbows. If I'm playing Bob, I can smash into her with my powerful gut, for example. And these are not hands or feet attack, which mean that Asuka won't be able to reverse them. If we're going to show you an example of this working, Kazumi actually has a couple of cool attacks that happen with her knee as opposed to her foot. Completely arbitrarily, Kazumi's hop kick is performed with her knee instead of her foot, and this means that this hop kick cannot be reversed by most reversals. It's really unique and fun. So if I make Asuka reverse here, you can tell that I'm just completely able to launch this with my knee attack, completely nullifying the reversal and turning it into a combo for myself. So very, very important and very good to keep in mind. If you have a launcher that comes out with a part of your body that isn't a hand or a foot, and you get a read on a reversal, I honestly think this might be the best way of dealing with it, because you just turn it into them being completely open and you being able to launch. You can use this move, for example, by the way. Her new launcher in Season 2 works just fine because it starts with a knee as well. So very, very cool and powerful stuff. And obviously also true for, you can, for example, throw a tiger into her or something like that. If you're playing a character who has a projectile, that will work as well. Characters that use weapons like Noctis and Master Raven, a little bit unique. You have to do testing to find out what works with what right there, but most of the time, if it's not a hand or a foot, then it will not be reversed, which I think is really cool. If you're playing Bob, then, for example, and you're against Asuka at the wall right here, you think she's going to reverse to try and get the wall splat behind her. Just do upward 1+2, 1+2, and that's like a massive headbutt into a gut smash for a huge wall combo. So you turn that into your situation completely. Now, let's talk about the chicken I showed you in the beginning. I mean, the chicken is obscure enough that I don't think new players know about it at all, more or less, because it's like an old Tekken tradition, but it doesn't see a lot of use in competitive play. And out of all the tournament matches, I mean, I've been watching competitive Tekken for many, many years, and I've probably seen more death combos or more taunt jet uppers than I have actual successful chickens. Maybe, I don't really know why, because they're not that difficult to perform, and if you are, on the bleeding edge and a top level player, they're definitely not that difficult to perform. But I guess reversals just don't come out that often, and when they do, there are a lot of the time more powerful ways of dealing with them, such as using a knee or something like that, or simply waiting, like that, and then launching Asuka at the end of the reversal animation, which obviously also works. But the way a chicken works, it has this really nice little sound cue, by the way, which I love, that they actually got the voice actor in and made him say chicken so they can put it in the game. I think that's beautiful. But first thing we should say that in the West we notate our attack buttons as 1, 2, 3, and 4. But in Asian notations, which I don't like, but it's how they notate here, they call these moves left punch, left kick, right kick. And so all you need to know is that 1 and 3 are buddies because they are on the same side of your body. And in the same way, 2 and 4 are buddies because they are on the same side of your body. And you can think of them in terms of even and odd numbers if you want to. 2 and 4 and 1 and 3. If that helps. But the way you need to perform your chicken is going to depend on what attack you got reversed. So if I attack into Asuka's reversal with my 1 jab here, that is something that comes out by pressing the 1 button, obviously, and so the companion button, the buddy of 1, is 3. So I need to press forward 1 plus 3. If my 3 or attack that comes out with the 3 is being reversed, then I need to press forward 1 plus 3 as well. You just press forward and the companion button, right? So it's either going to be forward 1 plus 3 or forward 2 plus 4. If I'm getting a 4 reversed, I want to press forward 2 plus 4. If I'm getting a 2 reversed, I want to press forward 2 plus 4 as well. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to perform a 1, a 2, a 3, and a 4 in that order, and I'm going to try and chicken all of them in that order so you can see that it works, okay? A little bit too slow on that one. There you go. So as you can see right here, this is not very difficult to do at all. The only difficult part of this is that it obviously has a reaction speed element to it, and it's very strict, meaning that most of the time when people are performing successful chickens, they actually buffered that chicken, meaning that they thought their opponent might do a reversal, and so they did the input for a chicken preemptively. And if they successfully chicken something, that's great, and if not, you know, then that's fine as well, kind of thing. And I think the reason you don't see the chicken that often, like I say, is that there are a lot of other powerful ways of dealing with a reversal, but there are definitely cases where you want to perform this chicken, and when you do, your dick will be enormous. And what I mean by that is that it's considered very difficult and very rare, and so if you're playing against, for example, Asuka, and you do a successful chicken, then that is just a situation of you completely reading them and dealing with them in a difficult and cool way. And so there's a lot of kudos and a lot of cred for you to perform a chicken, and I love the fact that it still has the voice cue actually saying chicken after all these years. But if you just do what I've done here, set Asuka to do a move into her reversal and just practice this for a little bit, you can learn how to consistently chicken in minutes. It is literally that easy. The only difficult part is that it needs to happen very fast when you're in a match scenario. And my tip for how to perform it correctly is don't try to do it too fast. You actually need to be in the reversal animation of Asuka before you do the chicken. If you do it too fast, then it will happen before and it won't be successful. So those are just some notes on parries and chickens and reversals in this game. I hope this was useful and enjoyable enough for my first video of the year. I'm working on a lot of cool stuff for Tekken right now, and I'm having a lot of fun. So I look forward to making a lot of cool stuff for you this year, and I hope you look forward to watching it. But for now, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.